Hello there and welcome back to my channel. It is of course only me again, and today is a very special day indeed because we are going to be doing some metal detecting on an absolutely amazing permission. I've had this permission for a few years now, and over the years this field has yielded some amazing finds, all dating from around the medieval period and including horse tack bits, horse harness decorations, lots of medieval hammered coinage, and I even had a really nice post-medieval merchant's ring as well, which was a really great find. I haven't been in this field for a few years because it's been left in fallow. However, there's sheep in here now, so the grass is nice and short. It's just like a bowling green, so hopefully we're going to get some nice bits. But if you want to see what we find today, then do stay tuned and watch the video, because everything that comes out you're going to see right here first on the channel. And that leaves me to say thank you all so much for tuning in again. I really do appreciate it. If you like metal detecting videos, then you're definitely in the right place. And of course, if you do like the content today, don't forget to drop me a thumbs up on the video as well. That means a lot. But that is the talking out of the way. Let's get some digging done, and I will see all of you on the very first hole. Hello there, this is just a very quick message to let everybody know that's watching this video and this channel that I now have a second channel. The channel's name is Behind the Finds, and on that channel I am going to be looking at all of the things that I find on this channel in a little bit more depth. So these are things that I would have found out much later after finding them and filming and editing the video. There is a really cool video on there where we go to the finds liaison officer and hand in all of our finds. So that's the very first video, but I will be updating that channel regularly, so stay tuned. If you like this one, you're going to absolutely love that one, so I'll pop a link to it right here. But anyway, let's crack on with the main video. Well, of course, it is still January and it is absolutely freezing this morning. The only thing keeping me warm today is knowing that there are really good targets in this field. So it makes kind of going out and pushing through the cold that little bit more worth it. And we've come down on our very first target today, and it was an absolute stonker of a target. It was coming up at about 81 to 82, but it was a really faint little target, which probably means that it was quite deep as well. And it was because I've dug the hole out, and what have we got? A ginormous musket ball. Now, I have found quite a few of these musket balls in this field before, and most of the musket balls I find in here haven't been fired. And you can tell if they've been fired because of course they wouldn't be completely symmetrical and round. Any fired ball will be slightly misshapen, and if it's hit anything at all, then it's going to have a flat spot on it. But this one here certainly does not have a flat spot, and it is almost in perfect condition, which means that it's very likely this has dropped out of somebody's pocket or purse holding the musket balls. And yeah, it's a really nice one. I'd probably say this dates from around the 1700s, something like that. And obviously it's been fired from a big old musket rifle, so possibly a little bit of hunting activity going on around here, but could also be a bit of Civil War activity as well. But a really nice find for our first go. I'm really happy with that. Going to push on, try and stay warm, and let's see what else we get. Oh wow, we have been in this field for 20-25 minutes. I had the musket ball, which you saw on the camera. I had another target, which turned out to be a piece of tin can, so I didn't really bother filming that one. And now I have just had a target which came up at a solid 54, was probably about 3, maybe 4 inches down. And I have just pulled out something which is amazing. And I rarely find these. These are really special little things. I have just pulled out of the ground a half penny, and it looks like it's a really early one because it's a cut half, and that means that it was once a full penny and it's been cut directly in half to be used as a half penny, and it very likely dates to the medieval period as well. What I can tell about this coin so far is that it's a voided long cross, and on the back you can just make out there is a portrait, or granted there's half of a portrait, and I think I can make out H, E and N, and that of course means that there's a very large possibility this is going to be a Henry III voided long cross halfpenny. And the reason why I say Henry III is because if it was Henry II, it's very more likely to be a short cross. And there is a difference, because what they did was they made the crosses even longer to try and prevent people from clipping the edges of the coins. It didn't work, as we know, because people still clipped the edge of hammered coins and tried to melt them down and make new coins. But yeah, I think this is a Henry III halfpenny, and it's very much going to date to around the 12, possibly even late 1100s. So this is a very, very old coin indeed. And what an amazing little find early on in this field. We do find great stuff in here. So as I said before, it's worth coming out, braving the cold, and just seeing if you can pick up little amazing nuggets of history like this. But super chuffed, super chuffed. Just had another really nice little target down here, and I wasn't expecting this to come out of the hole, just because it was such a nice solid rounded little target. And when it came out, I gave it a clean, knew instantly what it was, and of course we've gone and found a little buckle, and it's quite a nice little buckle too. I would probably suggest that this was about 1500, something like that. It's obviously a single looped buckle, and there's a potential that this could have come from a horse strap or something like that, but it is quite small. It's got two nodules either end there, and it's very, very stereotypical of a kind of 1500s-esque buckle. And if I look at the composition of metal inside of it, you can see that it almost looks like it's got maybe bits of pewter mixed in with it, but it could also be silver. It's very unlikely to be silver, to be honest, because it seems a bit of a shame, wouldn't it, to waste a nice precious metal, putting it in the mixing pot with some copper alloy. So it's very probably going to be pewter, and that means that it could be 1600, something like that. But it's a really nice little find, and it just goes to show that there are obviously people here, whether they were on horses doing some practicing, whether or not they were just working the fields and farming, we don't know. But of course we are finding the remnants of them as we go metal detecting. And nice little buckles like this are really good little finds, can tell you a lot about the history of the land. So yeah, quite chuffed with that. So we've just gone and had another target down here. It was about 54, something like that, and it's come out in this little round bit, so have a listen. There we go, it's definitely in there. So I thought, well, let's crack this open together and see what we've got in here, because you never know, it could be something good or it could be something rubbish, but at least we've got it on the camera either way. So let's have a look. Always in the last bit. Oh, here we go. Ah. What is that? That looks to me like we've possibly just gone and found another little buckle. Wow, this looks like quite an early one too. How cool. I wonder if it's got the pin intact in here. So on first inspections, this does look like a buckle of some type, possibly an early one. I'm going to hazard a guess at this stage and say that it could very well be medieval, but it is still covered in mud, so I don't know that for sure. Yeah, you can see like almost like a little pin here that moves up and down. Oh wow. So I don't think I've ever found a buckle that looks like this, but its design definitely tells me that this is medieval, and this could be quite an early buckle, so it could be around sort of 1200, something like that, which makes it a really, really nice little find. And if you remember, we found the awesome half hammered penny earlier on. Well, this buckle could very well date to around the same sort of time as that coin, for sure. We are in a very different part of the field, but it has been ploughed for some years, so it does mean, of course, things can be spread around. But yeah, what an amazing little buckle. Can you imagine who had this? Were they, you know, a knight or somebody quite important that was riding through here, maybe on their horse, and broke a strap or broke a buckle or something like that? It just boggles the mind to think who this once belonged to and why it ended up in a field. But that's metal detecting, isn't it? That's why we do it. It's an amazing hobby. But there we are, guys. An absolutely wonderful little medieval buckle. Okay, we are back again with another find from the field, but of course this one isn't a lovely coin or a buckle or anything like that. This is quite obviously a piece of lead. But what is really interesting about this piece of lead is I actually think that it is window lead. And the reason I say that is because it has a very flat bit here where it would have gone up against the frame. And then of course there is a slight groove just going along here, which is very likely where the actual window glass was. And it's going to be very old, isn't it? It's very, very crude, and it's obviously been dumped in this field with part of the demolition of the building. But I'm pretty much 95% sure that this is a piece of window lead. And the good thing about this is that it can explain why you find things in fields, because if they've put demolition rubble in a field and then buried it, of course a lot more things can come along with that. Household goods, coins, buckles, maybe even kind of utensils, spoons, those sorts of things. So yeah, a normal indiscriminate piece of lead, not really too interested in, but something like this, which I do believe is a piece of stained glass or just normal glass window lead, then can tell you a lot about the field. So yeah, there's that one. Well, this was one heck of a signal. Coming up at about 89, but super, super loud, super ear bursting. And I thought, well, it's either going to be something good or it's going to be a load of junk. But of course I've dug the hole, and what came out of the hole? A huge piece of lead. But it's quite an interesting piece of lead. As you can see, it's kind of domed. And at first I did think that this would be the bottom of a melting pot. But then I noticed in the middle it had a sort of indentation, so I've poked it through, and of course it's got a hole all the way through the middle. So it can't be the bottom of a melting pot, unless the melting pot had something in the bottom which protruded out of it. Now, of course, most lead things with holes in the middle are weights, but I've never ever seen a weight like this. It really does look like it's you know, been formed in the bottom of a melting pot, because you can just see the sort of rim going around the outside there. But I have no idea what this is. It could literally be anything at all. So what do you guys think this is? Do you think this is something relatively old? What do you think it was used for? I mean, it's got a hole in the middle, so somebody's obviously purposely put that hole in the middle. But your guess is as good as mine. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so hit me up in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. But yeah, it's quite an interesting find. I'll certainly take it. Hopefully we can find out a bit more about it. Well, it's just gone 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We have stopped for a bit of lunch, came back out, started walking down the end of the field, had another target, and what have we found? It's an amazing hammered coin, another one, only this one looks like it's a nice full one. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's another medieval penny, something like that, but let's get in, have a look, give it a clean off together and see what we found. Okay, so here it is. As you can see, that is exactly as it came out of the ground. Just flipped the plug over, saw this here and thought, wow, that looks like a coin, doesn't it? But obviously we don't know what it is yet, so we're gonna have to give it a little bit of a clean off. And oh no, look at that. It looks like it's possibly a broken one. Now, I'm secretly hoping this isn't a button, but yeah, that sure looks like a lovely silver medieval penny for sure, doesn't it? Absolutely. And just cleaning off the other side here, looks like it's probably going to be one of the Edwards as well, because this has a normal long cross. And as you can see, it is a little bit broken, which is a shame, because usually when I find medieval pennies in this permission, they usually come out in absolutely amazing condition. So I think we're gonna have to give this one a little squirt of water and just see if we can get any more information from it. But I'm quite sure that it is a little medieval silver penny, and it's looking like it's probably going to date to around the 1200s, something like that. But we should be able to get a bit more information from it once we clean it. We can see a little portrait on there coming through. Yep, there we go. Now, this is an interesting coin because it's not an Edward, because Edward always had a front-facing portrait. This, as you can see, has actually got a side-facing portrait, which makes this probably slightly earlier than an Edward, and it could also mean that it's a Henry or something like that as well. So that makes this even more exciting, because what an amazing little coin that is, and it's got such a lovely little portrait on there. I really hope it's coming through on the camera so that you can see that, but yeah, absolutely amazing. You can see the front there. Yeah, you can definitely see the front there. It's very, very different to like a normal Edward the First, second or third, because this has little stars where the 3 pellets would be in the quadrant. So I'm not too sure who this coin is. It could be like a Stephen or something like that even, but I'm not 100% sure at this stage, but I am sure going to find out, and I am sure going to put this on the video for you with a nice picture. But I've never ever found one of these in this field, and I am super chuffed with that, even if it is broken, because this thing is going to be, what, 800 years old, something like that, and it's just a wonderful little find. Oh wow, would you look at that? So we've just gone and found another really interesting find in this field. And I actually know what this is as well, which is really cool. So this is a tiny square little copper alloy coin weight. And they, you know, you can tell them a mile off. Coin weights are always relatively the same kind of size, but depending on what type of coins they were actually supposed to weigh, they would have obviously been bigger and then smaller. This is undoubtedly a little coin weight for sure, because it's square. And I think that if we were to clean this up, we would definitely see some type of marking on here. Now, sometimes they imprint the type of coin that this was supposed to weigh. So for instance, if it was going to weigh a half angel gold coin, then of course you would see the angel etched into it. And some of the later ones in the 1600s had the Roman numerals on there as well, to denominate what type of coin that it was going to weigh as well. So they are really interesting finds, and I actually really like finding coin weights, because I'm starting a little bit of a collection of them. Not really on purpose, I just find them and then I spend a bit of time sort of making them look good, and then I put them in a little part of my display case, and yeah, they actually look really, really good. And it's a great point of conversation as well. An awesome little nugget of history, a little coin weight like this, and I'm going to give it a clean up and hopefully we can get some information of it on the video for you to see as well. But yeah, another little coin weight, absolutely amazing. So this is such a cool little find, guys, amazing. I knew what this was the minute it came out of the ground, and as you can see, it looks like two little lead balls that are joined together, and that's because it is two little lead balls that are joined together. But of course they're not ordinary lead balls, are they? These were most likely little lead pistol shots which have been cast, and as they've been cast they were stuck together, so they haven't been quite finished. What would usually happen is that they would get cut here and then rounded off by a bit of grinding or something like that, and that's so that they would fit inside of the pistol nice and snug in the barrel and be more accurate. The rounder the bore, the better it fitted in the barrel, the more accurate the shot was. And these have been cast but never ever finished, and I've never ever found two pistol shots welded together like this. So a really, really interesting little find, and amazing, absolutely amazing. For a lead find, that's not too bad. That's almost as good as they get. So yeah, there's that one. Let's push on. We haven't got too long left for today, but don't forget this is a two-part, so hopefully we're going to be back tomorrow and get some more finds as well. Well, just when you think it's all over, you go and get a 91 on the Deus 2. You dig out the hole, and what of course do you find? A massive silver coin. Very stereotypical of a 91. Doesn't waver at all, it's just 91, 91 every single time you go over it, regardless of what type of angle that you go over it as well. And yeah, it's most certainly a silver coin, but what type of silver coin is it? Well, come on in, let's have a look together, and hopefully it's a nice old good one. So here we are, here it is, the target. This is pretty much just as I found it as well. So you can see here, without a shadow of a doubt, look at that. That is certainly a silver coin, isn't it? But I could be eating my words, because of course it could be a button. So let's check it out and have a look and see what we've got here. So let's give it a bit of a clean and see what we've got. It looks like a very shiny coin. Oh wow, it's got some sort of animal on the front of it, which is interesting. What is that? Is that like a bull or a pig or something? I am not too sure. But it looks like a relatively modern coin, doesn't it? Let's have a look at the other side here. Ah, okay, so it's got a harp. There we go. So a harp would obviously mean that this is an Irish coin. So is this an Irish shilling? Well, it's very possible. What's the date on there? It says 1928. So a 1928 Irish shilling. Never ever found one of those before, that's for sure. Yeah, didn't even know that they existed, in all honesty, but really chuffed to find it in this field. I mean, it's not a medieval coin or anything, but still a bucket lister, and I can say that I've found one as well. So yeah, there we are, a 1928 silver, part silver anyway, because you can see a little bit of corrosion there, so it might not be 925 silver, but hey, it's still a lovely find. Chuffed to find that, a nice little Irish shilling. Happy days. Okay, so that is all we have time for in today's video. What an amazing day it has been. This permission has upheld its reputation once again. So many good, interesting finds have come out of here, and I have really been coming to this permission for about 9 years on and off. So every single time I do come here, it always throws up some really, really nice bits. But amazing day today, really happy with the stuff that we've had. But don't forget guys, this is part 1 of 2. So if you liked this video, then do hit subscribe below, because next week I'm going to be uploading uploading the second part of this video where we're going to come back into this field and hopefully get just as many amazing finds as we have today. So again, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, don't forget, give me a thumbs up because that does mean a ton. But that's the talking out of the way. I will see you on the next video.